What's up, everybody? It's Taylor Twellman from Major League Soccer and Apple TV. It's the international break where there will only be two MLS games, both makeup games from League's Cup, Columbus Crew and LAFC playing those games. Now, the West playoff field is set with only the host of the playing game yet to be decided, Vancouver, Portland, Colorado limping to the finish line. In the East, DC and Montreal control their fate in the final weekend, while Philadelphia and Atlanta are on the outside looking in. But before we get into the final weekend of MLS, congratulations to all of those involved, as the league set an attendance record of over 11 million fans for the first time in league history, and the final weekend has yet to happen. 16 matches remaining, with MLS Decision Day being on October 19th, with the biggest storyline being what? You guessed it. Inter Miami, Lionel Messi chasing glory, which leads me to Twellman's Takes. Now, last week, Inter Miami went in Columbus and Toronto and got 6 points. Messi, 2 goals against Columbus. Campana scores in the 93rd minute to eliminate Toronto, but more importantly, keep the dream alive of setting the most points in the regular season record still there. And to think their final game will be against who? The Revolution, the team that set the record in 2021. 73 points, led by the MVP of that season, Carlos Sio. Now, it feels like ages ago when this Inter Miami team traveled over 25,000 miles in preseason. By the way, that's enough mileage to go around the planet once. They began the year with high expectations. They fell short. CONCACAF Champions Cup, Leagues Cup, but not in the regular season. Deepest team in MLS history, 33 players used, has had to show its merit with so many injuries, Messi only playing 18 games, in the oldest starting 11 in MLS. Now, should they get the record? Tata Martino, Coach of the Year. But the better conversation is, or should I say, should Messi win MVP? Now, 17 goals, 15 assists in 18 games, that's alien-like. That's out-of-this-world type of production. But I ruffled some feathers last week when I mentioned Miami won the Shield when they won 8 of 9 games without Messi. Here's why I said that. In 2023, Miami won 78% of the games with him, only 12% without him. The biggest question this year, how would Miami survive without Messi in the summer? They answered that. They won 8 of 9 when he missed those games. So to keep the same points per game with him and without him, nobody predicted that. The Shield, the points record, and maybe MLS Cup, that would complete a very long season for the team in pink. Now, MLS history has told us form heading into the playoffs is a great indicator of who can make a run. And ironically, in 2024, it is 2 teams that were predicted to be in this spot, but they got off to slow starts to the season. Since July 1st, who are the 2 best teams in MLS? It's not Columbus. It's not Inter Miami. It's Orlando City and Seattle Sounders. The Sounders are a tried and tested group, maybe and most likely the last run for this group under Brian Schmetzer, and they've won 11 of 14 heading into the playoffs, only losing to the Portland Timbers and LAFC, and they've done it the best way this group knows how: defend. Only 8 goals given up in that span. And you add in the experience of Stephen Fry in goal, who's to say they can't make a run to another MLS Cup? That's only if LAFC are not in their way. In the East, before the season started, I thought Orlando City and what they did last year heading into the playoffs would continue into the regular season. And what did they do? They won 4 of their first 18 games. 4 of their first 18, including a loss to Miami 5-0 in the second game of the year. But they changed personnel. They moved Martin Ojeda to the 10. Facundo Torres starts showing up. It's the best team in MLS since July 1st. And they are scoring goals for fun while winning 10 of those 13 games. They will fight. They will claw. Basically, they will do anything to get under your skin. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to play this version of Orlando City. And finally, we have to talk about the disappointment in Toronto. It is safe to say that Lorenzo Insigne in his stay in MLS has been underwhelming, to say the least, and that's being polite. He's played in 54 games in MLS. They've won 14 of those games. He's got 6 in those 14 games. 6 goals. And this past weekend, when they hosted Miami, that was the whipped cream on the pile of you know what. The highlight of Insigne's time in MLS is exchanging kits with Messi. See, I find the whole thing ironic, too, because it was the same day that Toronto FC announces that Sebastian Giovinco would be coming back to them as a special advisor. It feels like ages ago when Giovinco and Bradley and Altidore were winning trophies with Greg Vanning at the helm. And I'm not totally sure they know their way out of a paper bag in the moment. the amount of younger players that they have let go and moved on to be better away from Toronto, it has to have the powers to be concerned not about next year, but the next 3 to 5 years. What is the plan of this team? The fans, the city, the owners, they have always delivered. But now it's time for the coaches and the players and the technical staffs to reward those. This offseason will be very interesting in Toronto, the 4th largest city in North America. And I wouldn't be shocked if it is big moves on the docket for this ownership and for this club. Decision Day is October 19th on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. The East will kick off games at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by the West at 9 p.m. MLS Countdown will get us ready at 5 p.m. Join us as we get ready for the Audi MLS Cup playoffs.